All right, news of the White House's alleged attempt to bribe Congressman Joe Sestak into dropping out of the Pennsylvania Senate race has lingered in the public for 4 months now, and the longer it does so, the more bizarre it becomes. Now, over the past several months, Sestak has had the chance to repeat his allegations against the White House. And as the American Spectator points out, he sounds eerily similar each time he does so. Take a look at this.
I was asked a direct question yesterday, and I answered it honestly. There's nothing more to go into.
Did the White House offer you a job to not get in the primary?
And I answered that yes. And I answered it honestly. But to go beyond that, Brett, doesn't serve any purpose.
Well, you offered a job, and what was the job?
I was offered a job, and I answered that.
You said no, you wouldn't take the job. Was it the Secretary of the Navy? Was it the Secretary of the Navy job?
Anything that goes beyond that is for others to talk about.
What specifically did they offer you, sir?
Well, I was actually asked by a reporter something that a few months ago that had happened almost 8 months earlier.
Right.
And I answered it honestly.
You answered it honestly, and you said they offered you a job.
I said, you know, and I did answer it honestly and said yes.
Did the White House offer you a position in the administration if you would not run?
Yeah, I was asked that question months after it happened, and I felt an obligation to answer it honestly, and I said yes.
Can you tell us what job?
No, Bob, and then I said at the time, anything beyond that just gets into politics.
All right, but Sestak is not alone. Responses from the White House have been evasive, too. Robert Gibbs and David Axelrod have refused to answer questions on the subject, as we have seen over the past few days. And when the issue reached the Attorney General of the United States, well, take a look.
What are you presently doing, and what will you commit to do, including, hopefully, a special prosecutor or a special investigator about these allegations?
I have great faith in the people in the public integrity section who would typically handle these kinds of matters. I was a member of the public integrity section for 12 years.
Fine, I sent you a letter. You've not responded to it. What is the response to investigating this?
I don't talk about any matter that might come into the purview of the Department of Justice.
Okay, if I offer you a job in the White House, let's say Secretary of the Navy, in return for your doing something such as dropping out of an elected office to clear a primary, is that a serious crime?
I don't answer hypotheticals.
All right, now this raises the question, why are both parties being so evasive? Now, is it possible that they're being coached from the same playbook? After all, with an election to win in November, there is no question that Sestak and the White House are now playing for the same team. And unfortunately for them, it appears that they have made some enemies in the Democratic establishment. People as high up as the DNC chair, Tim Kaine, are calling on Sestak and the White House to answer these tough questions.
Look, if the question gets asked, it is something that they should deal with.
And Illinois Senator Dick Durbin joined the chorus as well, telling CNN, quote, Congressman Sestak raised the issue. If there's been some confusion, I hope he can make the facts as clear as possible. That as far as the administration is concerned, well, they will react to it. So will the two parties come clean? Joining me now with analysis on this unfolding scandal, our chief political correspondent from the Washington Examiner, Fox News contributor Byron York, and California Congressman Darrell Issa is back with us. Guys, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can we first establish, Congressman, that if, in fact, he was offered a job to get out of the race, that is a crime?
It is a crime. There's no question that anything, as you saw in Illinois, in trade for an office is criminal to offer. You cannot offer these positions in return for anything of value.
Okay, and obviously, Byron, you know, all reports are that it was Secretary of the Navy. What is your reporting telling you?
Well, that's what everybody thinks, and everyone thinks that the person who offered it was the White House Chief of Staff, Rahm Emanuel. The White House cannot go on like this. Sestak sounds just plain weird when he says, well, they offered me a job, but I just can't say anything more about it. Clearly, what you have is you have a conversation. There were two parties to it. We need to find out what each side said, and I just don't think they can continue. The president's going to have a news conference tomorrow, and he's going to be asked about it. They're going to have to offer more information.
All right, so we should have a little bit more light shed on this. Congressman, let's go to the different statutes and the different laws that we're talking about. about. We have 18 U.S. Code 600 says that a federal official cannot promise employment, a job in the federal government in return for a political act. And Section 18, U.S. Code 2010-2011, says you cannot accept anything of value in return for hiring somebody to the nomination for a fellow Democrat, which is something of value. So I would think any position is by definition against the law because it's something of value. So that's where we stand, right?
Absolutely, Sean. And you know, many people get confused because politics does have a dirty little secret, which is that people help people get elected, and then those who helped them get elected often get positions. Where you cross the line is when you have the power to do it and you make a promise. And it's very clear that that's what Congressman Admiral Sestak has said, is that a person of power in the White House offered him this position in return for getting or not getting into the race. Yep. And that violates several laws.
All right. Now, you have been seeking a special counsel. You are the ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, and you want this investigation. Eric Holder said no investigation. Republicans now have come back today, and they said, no, we want a prosecutor here. What do you think the chances are you'll be able to get this?
Well, I've always wanted an answer. And if I got an answer from the White House, even if I didn't like it, that would take care of a great deal for you and for me. Having said that, when 7 senators in the Senate say that they want it, the implied threat is, or judges aren't going to get confirmed, and other things that the president wants that even the minority can do in the Senate, it becomes serious enough that I suspect in the next couple of days, we're going to get something that the White House believes will put this matter behind us.
Byron, look at what's happening in terms of, you got Ed Rendell. He's asking everybody to come clean. Dick Durbin, as we just pointed out, he's asking. Anthony Weiner, the Philly Inquirer, the Washington Post, they're demanding answers to these questions. So, you know, these are all newspapers on the left, congressmen on the left. They seem, government officials on the left, they're now pressuring them. Is there anything that you can think of that the president can say in this press conference that could put this to rest tomorrow?
Well, the president could say that the White House was going to say exactly what took place, what Rahm Emanuel said and what Representative Sestak said.
Wait a minute. Admit to a crime, maybe?
They could say that. What's going to happen, Sean, though, is nothing is really going to happen unless there's a real public firestorm. Go back to the Valerie Plame affair during the Bush administration. At that time, Republicans controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. They didn't really have to do anything, but there was such public pressure that the president authorized the appointment of a special prosecutor, Patrick Fitzgerald. It went on for a very long time. It was only as a result of public pressure. So here again, you have the president controlling the White House and the Senate. They don't have to do anything.
Last question.
Only if there's pressure will they.
All right, last question, Congressman. If it turns out that they did offer something of value, as we pointed out, the U.S. Code says is against the law, I can't imagine that anybody that works for the president could have done this without his permission. If the president of the United States offered such a thing, is that a high crime and misdemeanor in your mind?
It is, in fact, that's not the question. The question is, will the president put it behind him and then dare the Congress to bring articles of impeachment? Historically, presidents have done, from Andrew Jackson on, done things that really infuriated the Congress. But when they're disclosed in a timely fashion, they usually end up being far less than anything that would require impeachment. And I don't expect this to be about impeachment, but if it goes on like Watergate does or did, you begin to realize that the American people will want more than just an admonishment.
All right. I think that it's a fair question. What did he know, and when did he know it? And we're going to be asking that question until we get the answers. Guys, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.